we say goodbye to Villa de la Vina, at least for the time being, because Jenn Tran's upcoming season 21 of The Bachelorette is shooting somewhere else. Villa de la Vina has served as the home stadium of our beloved game since Brad Womak's season 11 back in 2007. But in a recent interview with Entertainment Tonight, Jenn Tran revealed that her night one took place at Hummingbird Nest Ranch in Santa Susana, California.
While the Hummingbird Ranch might be new to Jenn Tran and her incoming rookies, it's not new to Bachelor Nation. This sprawling estate served as the location for the first and only season of The Bachelor Presents Listen to Your Heart.
Another change to the format that we'll be seeing in Jen's season includes only one night of shooting in Los Angeles. Immediately after night one, Jenn and her players supposedly are going to be heading overseas, where the entirety of the season is scheduled to take place in locations including Australia and New Zealand. Will Jenn have a group date that ends up in a hobbit house like Juan Pablo did in episode 6 of Bachelor season 18? We can only hope.
Will she have a fly-infested, tumultuous conversation in the desert of Australia in the same location that Peter Weber and Madison Pruitt broke up? Time will tell.
God, I hope so. I hope she gets some stuff like that.
I think the number one thing that this says to me is budget. Mm-hmm. Only one night of shooting in LA?
I agree. It means the budget is bigger, for sure.
That's what I'm saying, yes. Yeah. Budget going upwards.
I agree. I think that this is... I agree. I think it's a byproduct of the ratings were through the roof on Joey's season, and they were like, oh, let's put a little more money into this and make it bigger, make it better. Because I think this isn't a decision they made for Jenn Tran. I think this was a decision that was made for that season of Bachelorette. Whoever the Bachelorette was going to be was going to get the same thing. Why they have chosen
had to be before they picked the person.
Yes, because all the travel arrangements and all that kind of stuff. They couldn't have made that last minute, I think. But, why they decided to switch the mansion, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Was it that mansion, like if they made the decision that we were going to do most of this season overseas, that travel was going to be a big part of it, maybe Villa de la Vina is like, yeah, dude, you can't rent it for one night. That could have been. I'm not sure.
I mean, they only do it for what? The first week normally?
Yeah.
First 2 weeks. It seems unlikely to me that this decision is based on the location being booked, since that hasn't come up ever since they've been using the mansion. But it is a giant departure, and I think that's why we wanted to take a more in-depth look at it. To bring back anything from Listen to Your Heart is a shocking move for this franchise, since
I agree.
They seem to want to have buried that season and make it like it didn't exist. We all watched it when we were deep in COVID. The game mechanics didn't make sense. You're competing in music, but you also have to show your chemistry on stage. Yeah. But I'm so excited. I think you and I have been calling for a new mansion. Mm-hmm. The mansion is, I'm sorry, it's legacy, but it's dusty.
Yes.
And all these other shows are going to much nicer places. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of my scream, actually. I'm changing my scream.
You have multiple screams?
I have multiple
you're like,
screams
no.
now.
This is a higher ranking scream. I'll use this one later. I agree with you. We have talked about it on this show a lot, about the need to change the location, that the Villa de la Vina, while it has served its purpose, it is from a bygone era. And if you're trying to move this franchise in a new direction, that, in my opinion, includes every element of it. How it's presented, where you're shooting it, all of that. And when you look at shows like Perfect Match, where they are put up in this very luxurious, modern kind of multi-bedroom mansion, you want to see things like that in The Bachelor. You want the experience of being a player on the show to be prestigious and fun and like something that you don't want to leave. If you're all forced to cram into bunk beds in a 3-bedroom house out in the middle of the hottest part of the valley,
rat infested.
Exactly. And look, no shade to Villa de la Vina. I have myself, is it drinked, whatever the past tense of drink is. I have done that.
Drunk.
Yeah. Dronk. I have Dronk from its waters. The Villa de la Vina waters will forever be a part of my physical corpus. That said, we need a new
We're
place.
99% water, 1% Villa de la Vina.
That's true. But I don't know if the Hummingbird Nest Ranch is the right move. I get that they probably have some kind of deal with them, or they have some relationship with the people who run that property because they shot Listen to Your Heart there. But it is, no offense,
It's probably free.
It's a cursed location. Let's be real. Listen to Your Heart was not a success, and now some piece of that specter haunts this season, at least in my mind.
Are we going to now see someone come in and be like, who's Chris Harrison? Someone
Please.
did that on Listen to Your Heart.
Yeah. Are we going to see somebody come in who's a military veteran and say that The Bachelorette is a worse experience than combat? We saw that on Listen to Your Heart.
That I don't think we'll ever get again.
Is
That
Danny?
was-
well, don't say never. Never say never. You never know. Are we going to see Danny Padilla on this season?
I mean, I can't believe I didn't make the connection of Listen to Your Heart, and I just guessed Danny Padilla for that Nick show. I hope so. I hope some of the Listen to Your Heart players are living on those grounds still, just waiting for another franchise opportunity.
Just hiding in the bushes.
Do you think they're going to add members of the cast now that it is Jenn Tran as the Bachelorette?
I don't know. I don't know if they had time. They're shooting. They're already in Australia or whatever now.
Right, but couldn't
As we're
they have
recording
someone crash the season?
Yeah, you
The
could
Asian Blake Moynes?
You could have a crasher for sure. And maybe that's even a conversation they've had with Jenn Tran early on. Like, look, we know that we cast this for Maria. Is there anybody else from Bachelor Nation that caught your eye? We'll try to get him in here. I would love it if they did that. And throw in a fucking ringer. Who cares? Who cares? A lot of people, look, there's no, I won't say there's no evidence to this. There's no corroborated evidence to this. But a lot of people believe on Love is Blind Season 5, Brett Brown and Tiffany Pennywell were ringers. A lot of people believe that they maybe didn't know each other exactly before, but had met each other before and were kind of like, oh, okay. And then they put them on that season, and they're the giant superstars off that season. They're the relationship we all want to watch happen. Can they do that on Bachelor? Sure. Yes. That's how you make good TV. In quotes, good TV is not Champagne Gate and these dumb kind of things to instill rivalries. Good, in quotes, TV on The Bachelor is give us the believable love story. Look what happened with Joey and Kelsey.
Relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. We've seen that on Bachelor in Paradise. But every couple on Bachelor in Paradise, to me, seems like they've already met before.
Yeah. They have Coachella.
You have to do it in a believable way.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Coachella is coming up. Good luck to all of the Bachelor Nation players who are going out to brave the stinging sands of Indio, California.
I want to go, but Jake is going for a bachelor party. It's 15 people camping.
To Coachella?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I camped last time.
I would
do it again.
I don't care if that was my best friend. If that's your bachelor party, I ain't
You
coming.
wouldn't go?
No, I'll be on a Zoom.
What?
Put me on a Zoom.
I'll be on a Zoom.
I can't do that. That's not for me.
You're on one of those little iPads that's held up by a stick on wheels at Coachella.
That's how I'd prefer to be anywhere. Just put iPad on a stick on wheels. Do that for me anytime I have to physically be anywhere that is not my home.
Oh my gosh.
But certainly Coachella.
Well, I hope you join my bachelor party that way.
I will. Is that what you're going to do for your bachelor party?
No.
Okay. And am I invited to your bachelor party?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Getting married.
But you will. When the day comes.
Question.
Yeah, when the day comes, I assume your bachelor party will be all ladies. At any rate, we are in kind of unprecedented territory with this moving from Villa de la Vina. That mansion, even during the bubble seasons, it was always we got to get back to Villa de la Vina. And I remember interviews with Chris Harrison where he's like, yeah, it's not the same. We've got to do it at this resort or whatever. And it doesn't feel like home. I think that home is no longer your home. I think you've got to get a new home now. The franchise is moving in a different direction. It's like, I don't want to say kinder, gentler. I think we've used that phrase before, but it really is more of a 4TRR direction.
More modern.
Well, hopefully more modern, sure. But even just the tone of the show is like, it is for the right reasons, it seems like. They're not maliciously screwing players over at every turn. They really do seem to have
Except
certain
Sydney.
players' backs.
Yeah.
What's that?
Except Sydney.
Yeah, except Sydney. But even that was, it didn't amount to much. Like, she didn't come out of this like, I don't know, maybe she did, like an Anna Redmond, I was going to say, who got raked over the coals. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Brittany.
Brittany Galvin.
Getting the...
Yeah.
She entertains man for my...
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just feel like it seems like the show is getting back to a course correction that is really about, we have cast this person that anybody on the show will be lucky to wind up with, and now we're watching that game of attrition through dating. If that's the case, it's like Villa de la Vina, at this point, at least for a longtime fan like us, has so much negative shit associated with it that you got to leave it in the past. Really turn a corner, make this show new, find a new mansion. Like, I get that the Hummingbird Nest Ranch was kind of that's a Band-Aid. It's like, we got to do this quick. Let's do it here. It's only for one night. That's fine. But when you come back next season for Bachelor 29, get a nice mansion. Put some money in it. Put it in Malibu.
On the beach.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, go back to Malibu. The origins are Malibu.
Yeah.
They started season 1 at this like cliffside mansion where everybody came in and did their handshake entrances. But
God.
I think it needs to be nicer. Like
Me too.
in Love Island, and they often are like beach adjacent.
Yes.
Maybe that's too loud, but like have
I think it is.
some nice element. Maybe it's overlooking a lake or whatever, a quieter body of water.
Elegant. You want the show to convey, not only is it you're going to be on a reality show and you're going to get to meet the Bachelor, Bachelorette, and date them. You want the experience, the whole thing, to be a fairy tale. Like, in my opinion, the mansion should basically be an extension of the Pretty Woman date. It should be like, oh my God, I get to live in a palace for 2 weeks. Not I get crammed into 15 bunk beds per room. It just can't be like that anymore.
A palace would be good, actually.
Yeah. They tried to do that in a couple of seasons. Remember, was it Lorenzo Borghese was in a castle? There was somebody else in a castle too, I want to say.
I want to say Matt Grant was...
I don't think his was.
somewhere.
That was in
No?
LA. His was
There was Paris.
Yeah.
They did a Paris season. They did a London season. I'm trying to remember where they
Did they
started.
do a London season? I thought it was New York,
they?
Paris, and Rome were the three outside of LA.
They didn't go to London for Matt Grant's? Whatever. Minutia.
Yes.
I am so excited about this decision. I don't think Hummingbird is the landing spot, but I think it's a step in the right direction.
I agree.
You want it to be an amazing experience that it was. Like, the whole conceit of the show. You're going on, what did they call them? Romantic fantasy date, fantasy suites. It's all supposed to be a fantasy fulfillment. And we, the women who watch the show et al., want to picture ourselves going on this, or picture ourselves as the Bachelorette. And wow, wouldn't this be an amazing way to find my life partner?
Yeah.
And in those first seasons, all of the dates were like that. They were even amounts of people going to fucking Vegas, going to a spa, going to Tahoe, Hawaii, etc. And it seemed like a dream life that you're living out through it.
Yeah. Those were the group dates. God, it's so funny to think
Yeah.
back to that time when a group date was like, we're going to put you on a plane and all 5 of you are going to Las Vegas where you'll have a stipend that you can gamble with. And then you'll get to go to a spa and get massages. Now group dates are like, you have to take off all your clothes, punch her in the face. Whoa, what?
And tell us the worst thing that ever happened to you.
Yeah, exactly. Let that stuff happen naturally. You don't have to set it up. I mean, the PTC stuff, not the forced nudity and violence. But we didn't really have any forced nudity or violence in this season. And it was not missed, in my opinion.
I mean, the most you have is those last two spirit guide dates where they get in their bikinis or whatever.
Yeah. At any rate, that is the state of the game. We are looking at an incoming Bachelorette season 21 starring Jenn Tran that's not going to be shot at the mansion at all. And most of it's going to be taking place overseas. I think this is a great choice and a good step in the right direction. We hope it continues. Now, speaking of continuing, shall we move on, Pace Case, to our next segment?
Just one more thing. It is also nice for me to see that they're doing this for Bachelorette and not just Bachelor. They tend to put the budget into The Bachelor.
Yeah.
As the flag show. So it's nice to see they are still stepping it up for Jenn.
Couldn't agree more.